Greetings. This is Master Phil with another episode of Master Phil in Your Corner. On this podcast, episode number 76, we'll be delving into the subject of, is the left stealing our kids? But before we sit back and enjoy the information on today's podcast, let's thank our sponsors. First, we're doing a seminar on the 6th of November. Alex Wilkie, Guy Villela, and myself will be conducting a stick and knife fighting seminar. A little more emphasis on the edged weapons. And that's going to be from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. on Sunday, November 6th. Email me at philrossmma at philrossmma1@gmail.com or check out my Facebook for details on this. The event is listed. And you can send payments through PayPal or Venmo. So we also have the philross.com website, your one-stop shopping for fitness, self-defense, and strength training videos, training on-site, one-on-ones, group seminars, and so forth. And then we have the P3 training group, plan, prepare, protect. Today's world is filled with uncertainty. Tensions are high as ordinary people are thrust into extraordinary situations. With this current landscape, active threat situations are unfortunately becoming routine. Sign up for your course today. I mean, you hear about it left and right. I mean, right up the street, a girl got kidnapped, knife point. A girl just got abducted down at Princeton. Stuff going on in the subway. 8 people got stabbed last weekend. It's getting crazy out there. Join Fit Team for healthy, organic, energy-boosting weight control supplements. We also have apparel. Join Fit Team today or just enjoy our products. Available on philross.com. Check out burnalong.com. You can see videos, training from me and 2,000 other instructors. So go to the Master Phil in Your Corner website to sign up there. And of course, you have Health is a Wealth. We just migrated to a brand new server. So we're rocking and rolling. So check out healthisawealth.com. It's our brand new virtual community platform based on health, wellness, and fitness. And then we also have the Winning Mindset group and one-on-one training for athletes, executive, and anyone who wants to gain the winning edge advantage. Pay-per-view flicks. The owners of Warrior Island have launched a fitness and wellness video training as well. So we have this whole website dedicated to training, fitness, and healthy lifestyle. Check it out. And of course, the Master Phil in Your Corner podcast. So, is the left stealing our kids? Now, notice how we have less control of our children. I mean, back in the day when I had an issue with something, I would talk to my parents. Now, of course, we got older, we talked to our friends, but you're like 10, 11, 12, 14, into high school. And then, of course, you get later in high school, you're thinking you're cool, you don't need your parents. But, as young kids, we speak with our parents about it. Kids don't seem to want to speak with you. They seem to be looking to the internet, looking to social media for the answers to all their questions. And, is the media, especially social media, raising our kids? This is something that we really have to delve into. If you look at some of the things going on with our children today, it's a little bit scary. So if you look at the fact that teens spend more than 7 hours a day in front of their screens, so you're looking at that 7 hours and 22 minutes a day for kids ages 8 to 12. 8 to 12. That is incredible. Gosh, how about running around? How about, seeing people face to face, being involved in sports and so forth? And there's all of this online video viewing. It's through the roof. And it's a constant stream. And, look, when we were bored, parents, every kid is bored, whatever, when are we going to get there, so forth. But, if these kids are without these electronic devices, if they're not connected, they immediately get bored. They can't think for themselves. They're so used to being receptors. I'm really concerned with the lack of creativity that's occurring now. because these children are not developing the ability to think for themselves and be creative. They're receptors. They're not putting anything out. There's no original thought. And how can looking at all these pixels, hour after hour, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, what are the long-term ramifications of this? I mean, little kids sitting in a crib or in a carry, they're sitting with a video game plopped in front of them, and that's how they're interacting. What about that face-to-face social interaction? If you have a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old, try to have a eye-to-eye engaging conversation with them. It's difficult for them, and it also becomes difficult for you as a parent. I have children that are quite a distance in age from each other, and I notice the differences with my 28 and 26-year-old than with my 12-year-old. Definitely incredibly more influenced by the social media and the apps and everything. I mean, you try to take these things away from them. Wow, it gets crazy, right? Think about it. And you have to look at this stuff. The amount of screen time that we're talking about, this 7+ hours, doesn't include the time for schoolwork, because when they're in their classrooms, they're staring at a screen half the day anyway. And they don't read books like real books. Hold a book and read it. That's we're missing out on a lot. And again, what is that going to do to their psyche? All these pixels going around. So it's also linked to an incredibly higher rate of ADHD in preschool children. So if you look at it, by age 11, 53% of the kids have their own smartphone. By 12, 69%. And that's an increase from 41% in 2015. So you look at these things that are happening and what's going on and how our children are being pulled away from us. So the first front we have here is social media and media pulling our kids away from us. What's the next one? How about the schools? You look at what's going on right now with the indoctrination of our children. Look, since the beginning of time, there have been heterosexual, homosexual, and even bisexual. And for eons, centuries, thousands of years, that's pretty much been accepted. Okay, but now we're having all these different offshoots. And not only is this being permitted in the schools, but it's being promoted. You also have these furries. Okay? So you have kids dressed as animals, acting like animals. You have like lizard boy, cat girl, and they're running around the school like this. And they communicate as animals. They meow, bark, growl, hiss, whatever it is they do. And this is also being not only, again, tolerated, but welcomed in these schools. How is someone like that going to function in the real world? Okay, it's one thing, got your little fetish, you do it, whatever, you get your furries get together on weekends and, dress up and, I don't know, chase mice around and eat them. Okay, fine, great. But, there's certain clothing, certain behaviors that aren't permitted in schools because it's a distraction, deemed a distraction. How is a girl with ears and a tail on meowing in the classroom not a distraction? How is a boy dressed as a lizard slithering around the school hissing? How is that not a distraction? People growling, barking, snarling at each other as they walk through the hallways in schools. We're trying to say that this isn't abhorrent behavior. So so you go and you say, well, it's the parents' fault, it's the parents' fault. You know what? I really don't think so. I don't think that there's too many parents out there that, have taken pet photos of their kid with the family dog. I'm going to go after these therapists that are condoning this. To me, it's a failure of the therapist to be able to address this and have a child, put this in its place where it should be. I mean, look, everybody fantasizes as, when you're a little kid, you fantasize a dinosaur walk around or like a horse or whatever. But this when you're a kid and it's make believe. You can't make believe take over your life. And that's what's happening. And that's being promoted by these therapists. And then they're forcing the parents to do this, or, school gets involved. And the same thing happens with the gender dysphoria. Kids are kids and they're very confused. There are people, and there's documented evidence of this, give an example of a person that had a 9-year-old girl, and she identified as a boy. The parents were, getting divorced, and the father like kind of blow it off, whatever. And then the mother's like, oh, we got to embrace this, went to the therapist, this, that, and the other thing. And then at 9 years old, she's taking puberty blockers. 9 years old. So then she started to develop anyway, because you know what? Our bodies are different, and we're different on a cellular level, and our hormones are going to fight for what is natural. And when she started to develop, when she was in high school, freshman, decided to have a double mastectomy. So all of a sudden now she's older, and now she wants to go back. She's putting on makeup, this, that, and the other thing. And now she's extremely confused. So, and I say the same thing about tattoos. Okay. This is a permanent situation. Look, my kids, the oldest, she wanted a tattoo when she was 13. I go, listen, when you're 18, okay, do what you want. I'll even take you. Okay. Because at 18 years old, you know what? If you're going to be stuck with something for life, and you've matured at least a decent amount. I mean, honestly, should probably be at least 21 for women, 25 for men, because if you look at yourself, be honest, at 17, 18, you think differently than you do at 25. Okay. But be the case as it may, let's set a demarcation line, and no puberty blockers, no radical surgeries, no mutilations of the children until they're of age and they can make their own decisions. Look, someone becomes an adult, that's up to them. You know what? As a parent, you can't look at it as you're a failure because your kid, is gay, transsexual, transgender, whatever it is. You know what? People are going to be what they're going to be. And I may get in some arguments about this with people, but naturally, people, purists will say, well, man or woman, and that's it. Okay. Male is supposed to be attracted to women, and a woman is supposed to be attracted to men. And you know what? On the most part, I'll agree with that. And for most people, that's what works. But you know what? There's a certain portion of the community that is attracted to the same sex. And that's honestly, it's kind of natural, especially if you have a more crowded area. Like, if you're in closer proximity. I mean, this kind of happens naturally as a way of nature, keeping the population down. People may disagree with me, may agree with me. Honestly, I could care less, but I'm giving my opinion. And it's also based on studies that were done. They had studies where they had rats spread out and then rats close in, where it was overpopulation. And when there was the overpopulation, violence went up, homosexuality went up, all these things increased because of the greater population. And you know what? We've always had people who are wired a little differently than others. Being attracted to the same sex or both sexes, whatever, I mean, that is what it is. And some people are like that. And it's not, anyway, it just is what it is. And honestly, I believe in my heart that that is part of nature. But when we get into the situation where we have, I don't even know how many different different sexual groups we have now. What are there's 57, 61. So one has like there's 47 terms. For this, they have terms A to C, like allosexual, alsexism, androsexual, asexual, aromantic, autosexual. I guess they like sex and cars. Autoromantic, bi-curious, bisexual, biromantic, coming out, came out, didn't come out, stayed home. Look, it's a little bit much. And to me, it seems that everyone wants to have their own little identity so that everyone can be a victim. And I'll tell you again, I'm going to throw this in the face of a lot of these, especially these new age therapists who embody this. Look, people, especially when they're doing the pronoun situation, when you got the them, they. Look, if there's one person standing there, you are not a multiple person. Okay, this person needs help. I've addressed this before, but this person needs help, and honestly, it's the failure of the psychological community to be able to help this person discover their identity. And hey, pick a side. You know what? If you say there's no such thing as that everything has to be binary, well, yeah, it basically is. So you have to make a choice because you are what you are. Whatever happened with the whole notion of, gosh, accept who you are. Okay, some people are gay, some people are straight. My big issue is what's happening in the schools with this. Okay, so there comes a point when they're actually grooming homosexual kids. Some of the teachers through this questioning that comes out, and it's a very unhealthy situation. And like these kids who are homosexual need to be protected. They should. They're still kids. Gay kids deserve the same protection against predators as straight kids. So, discussing sexuality on an individual basis should be prohibited in the K through 12 schools. Because sometimes what's happening, there are several cases where the children are being preyed upon and being used by people in the educational system. There's tons of information on it, but you go and go to your local state affiliate district board today and, order additional badges for the NEA and the LGBTQ plus caucus, So, the gay children have to be protected too from these predators because there is a big move right now for these MAPs. If you don't know what a MAP is, I'll tell you. It's a minor attracted person. And there's a growing effort by this radical new age therapists, obviously far left wing, to destigmatize pedophilia. So, a professor over at Old Dominion not too long ago went in and actually, it's kind of hard to, really accept what's going on here, but we have to kind of understand what's happening. That these professors are stating that it's okay. It's a sexual choice, and unfortunately, we have therapists that are actually okaying this, and they're backing this up. That these MAPs, these minor attracted persons, that we all call pedophiles. It's extremely disturbing. So I'll tell you his name. It's Alan Walker brought global attention to the newer term, minor attracted person, MAPS for short, with a greater argument that pedophiles shouldn't be ostracized for their urges. So they shouldn't be ostracized for their urges. So now children are also losing their rights there. So there's a lot of dangerous things going on here as far as our children are concerned. And we have to wind up taking control of this. And I think that most of it lies with the NEA, the left-wing, far left-wing organization, this new age therapy. I mean, look at the indoctrination that's going on with the children, just from the fact that the CRT, this critical race theory, where it's saying that all white people are oppressors, all people of color are victims. So what is that doing? How's that bringing people together? How is that helping society? It really isn't. All it's doing is forcing division, and it's making a very desperate situation for our kids too. Because look, we're told that the Earth's going to burn up because of fossil fuels. All the turtles are going to die because of plastic straws. That there's 97 different sexes and identities, and we have to know everyone and appreciate everyone. And how about just going to school, learning how to read, write, think, okay, become unplugged from the electronic devices. How about having some family time? Because what they do is they make it so that it's unattractive and uncool to be with your family. And no more family dinners, family discussion. Everybody's on a phone or an iPad and so forth. And then you try to implement these rules that say, hey, listen, no one's on that, or unplugging and this, that, and the other thing. And it's a very difficult thing to do, especially when the kid has to do the homework online, or we have to do something online. I mean, a lot of us work online. Look, we're online right now, but everything in moderation. But so there's several things that we have to do. We have to take a step back and look at what's happening, and we got to put the brakes on somewhere. And we really do have to protect our children. And you have to understand that this disruption of the family, the breaking up of the family unit, the separating of the child from the family, is part of the Communist Manifesto. There's no other way to describe it. And if you read any books on Marxism and so forth, you will see that. So they want to break down the family, break down religion, have the state have control over everything. Look at how much the state controls you now as opposed to it did 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. State has more control. So what are you going to do? Well, you have to protect yourself, learn how to protect yourself, and open your eyes to what's going on. Pull your head away from the sports game and get into this game of life that we have. This is Master Phil in your corner, signing off. Thank you for listening today, and we'll see you soon. Strength and honor.